presentation is on GMOs and why they're awesome. So now a lot of people don't know what GMO is. So here's your acronym with animations and happy. Genetically modified organisms, which pretty much means it's some sort of organism that's been in test tube baby labness to be altered to do something else. So, if you were to Google GMOs, you'd get a lot of this, which is like, GMOs are bad, and they're not tested, and they're Frankenstein food, and needles. That's not how it works. And, you know, the average person will believe Google, right? So, like, Becca, how can it possibly be good if I Google it and all I get is bad stuff? Well,
You're hitting the
You mean
play.
click on the play pause button.
Oh,
Move the mouse off of it.
Okay,
There you go.
okay. This is one of the times where Google fails us. I know, it's hard to believe, but it does. And I've noticed it tends to fail us on more scientific things. And the reason I believe that is because the people who like Google things and post it and talk about it a lot are not the scientists. They're the people who go, this doesn't sound cool. I'm going to read this study, misinterpret it, and then spread those misinformation to people. Mainly from these guys over here, which are the Organic Consumers Association, Greenpeace, and the Institute for Responsible Technology, which are all like, this is a new study. Let me skim it with my lack of scientific knowledge. Yeah, give my interpretation of it, which is probably wrong, and make other people know it. So these are kind of things you get on Google search, which is kind of bad. Although I think if you probably did Google Scholarly, you might get some nice stuff. But just simple Google, you're going to get propaganda. So, you know, those guys all think it's bad. Who thinks they're good? Well, it'll be these people, like the U.S. National Academy of Sciences, the Royal Society of Medicine, which is the UK science, the European Union, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, and Canada. In other words, science. Science says GMOs are good. Alright, so here are some not true things that, you know, people who are against GMOs say, like what science disagrees with. The big one is on the first slide, which is FDA does not require safety evaluations for GMOs. That's really wrong. Like, really wrong. I'm not really sure where they get that from. The FDA and like the agriculture, all of the U.S. governing bodies that control food and plants and stuff, all require all plants and all food, GMO and non-GMO, to go through rigorous testing. So that's just not true. They're very tested. Another one I see a lot, GMOs cause deadly allergic reactions. While that's not technically wrong, that's really, like, biased. So you can say that about anything, really. Like, I'm allergic to grass, so grass is bad because it can cause deadly allergic reactions to me. So yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. And really just shows a lack of the understanding of what an allergy is. So why are they awesome? Well, the main purpose, or one of the bigger purposes of GMOs is that they create more food. They make, you can make a new plant like wheat or corn that is pest resistant and frost resistant, so you don't need pesticides or fertilizer or lose as many, and you get more food. And hunger is bad. It makes babies cry. For real. It's estimated that about 2010, I think this number is from, is 925 million people are hungry. And about 16,000 children die from starvation every day. This is a really sad number, because I don't like dead babies. And I don't think you do either. And this guy, he also doesn't like dead babies. This guy is cool. This guy, his name is Norman Borlaug. He died in 2009. He was 95, so it's not like he was sudden death. But he was a big early proponent of GMOs, or he liked to call it genetic engineering. And he did a lot with wheat. What he did is he went to places like India and Mexico, and I think he went to China, Pakistan. And what he did is he went there, he looked at the wheat stuff, and This is mostly in Mexico when he discovered his wheat stuff. But he found this gene that made shorter stalks of wheat, which was important because then they didn't fall over. So then they would stay up, grow more, and then be easier to pick. So, up went the amount of wheat produced by these countries, which is good, because that means less starving people. And that's what he did. He also brought modern fertilizers and pesticides to these countries. And all in all, it's estimated that he saved about 1 billion lives from starvation. So he's a cool guy. And there's a quote from him. It's recording, I think it was in the early 2000s, the US was like, hey, third world countries, we have a whole bunch of GMOs. Would you like some? And they're all like, well, all these people on the internet are saying it's bad, so we don't want it. And his response was this. Instead of reading, I'll give you the gist. Essentially what he's saying is that people in first world countries like here are all like, well, I like organic food, and I don't think GMOs are good, so I'm going to buy this food that doesn't have any of that. It's completely organic. But, see, in places like third world countries, they don't really have that choice. They kind of have the food they want. So when you're telling them they can't have GMOs, you're pretty much telling them you can't eat today. And so you kind of just messes with the third world countries based on your utopian people. Alright. Now, some more current stuff. We have, this is called golden rice, which is currently being worked on and getting approval. What it is rice that has extra vitamin A in it, and it's meant to be for countries where there are severe vitamin A deficiencies, which is bad because it causes like blindness and deaths in children. And so this would the extra vitamin A, so it would help protect that. So this is currently in workings. Yeah, and that's it. Questions?
Is the extra vitamin A what causes the different coloration?
I don't think so. No, some other stuff that colored it. It might have been a little bit. I think that was also done purposely so you could tell the difference. Yeah.
What are some other cool GMOs?
You ever go to the supermarket and you see like extra big fruit? GMO.
Banana.
Well, actually, modern bananas are selective breeding, which is a little different. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay, cool. Thanks, Becca.